guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I have a Dazzled or Disappointed for you. I know it's been a little while on something that's not super new. It's still semi-new and it's something that I had mentioned in one of my previous new makeup release videos that I was intending to purchase, but I was going to wait until I received an Ulta coupon, which lo and behold, a couple of weeks ago, I did get an Ulta coupon and bam, I placed the order for this thing right away. It is the Lime Crime Venus XL2. So this is volume 2, the sister to the big Venus XL right here that so many people love, including myself. And so this got so many mixed, it got mixed feedback when the promo pictures first started coming out. So I was like, oh, I don't know if to get my expectations up. So I'm going to give you swatches, thoughts. I'm going to take you into what I'm wearing on my eyes today. And that way you know if this is right for you, if you're interested in picking it up. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this video. So first off, I think I love the packaging to this one more than the last one. So this is so pretty. I love the color scheme. I love the peach. I love the neon green. And I think that was a lot of people's gripe, was that, okay, based on the color scheme, you don't have that inside. Like, it's totally different than what's on the cover. That's not a big deal to me. The lettering is in gold, which it was on the last one as well. The back is a neon green. It is certified vegan and cruelty-free. It is made in the United States. So you get 18 shades at 0.05 ounces or 1.46 grams. So just like the first one, it opens up like this. You have a mirror. I love that it's got the little Lime Crime symbol on here. Now there is a little thingy to peel off and I think it might peel off with that, but I like it on there so I'm not going to peel mine off. It super easily bends all the way back, like it's made to bend all the way back, and here you've got all your amazing looking shades. When I first opened this I was like, whoa, I did not expect this to be as pretty in person. Because based on everything I had seen online, it seemed pretty like grungy, which I was okay with, but I love greens. So I was like, okay, greens and grungy, it's gonna look nice, but it is very pleasing to the eyes once you open it up and like you've got it in person. So let me go ahead and start swatching these on the back of my hand so that you can see, and I will be right back. Here we go. So you have the shades in Bloom, Crown, Sage, and Thorn. Next up, you've got Ripe, Forbidden, Stella, and Myth. Ooh, some of these are very, very soft, so it makes them crumbly when swatching. This shade right here is what I have on my eyelids today and is one of my very favorites in this palette. Next up, you've got Eve, Laurel, Radiant, and Ivy. And for the most part, you're probably able to tell that they swatch very well. There's not a whole lot of patchiness. There's not a whole lot of like streaky looking anything. Now we'll also say that there are only 4 mattes in this eyeshadow palette. So that's probably another reason why a lot of them are performing so well in the swatch. Here we've got West, Obscure, Mystic, and Phoenix. The last 2 are Locust and Classical. Now these 2 are super grungy, so if you're going for that 90s grunge vibe, these will give it to you. Now that we've gone through all 18 swatches, it's time for me to tell you what I have on my eyes today. So what I started out as my crease color was the shade in Bloom. So let me just go ahead and do this. So in Bloom, which is the pink, and then I deepened up that transition a little bit with the shade Ripe. Then I went in with the shade Classical on the outer portion of my lid, all over my lid, up until it reaches that darker shade there on the outer piece, is Myth. I used it with a dry brush, but I've kind of found a new technique for using these types of shadows that I have been loving, and I'll share that with you in a second. And then on my inner corner, I have the shade Radiant right here. So that's what I've got going on. Let me zoom you in and I'll walk you through that one more time because I don't expect y'all to remember all that. So the transition shade up here is that light pink called In Bloom. It's like a peachy pink. And then I deepened it up a little bit with the shade Ripe. And then outer corner is Classical. That's that deeper shade out here. All of this is that shade Myth, which is that really pretty silvery green. In the inner corner, I have the shade Radiant, and then I forgot to tell you, which I always forget, my lower lash line is that matte green called Sage. So that's what we've got going on. I don't have anything on the brow bone, but that is what we've got going on the lids for today. So really pretty. I was really happy with this, with how this one came out. I love using this shade on the lid. It is so stunning. So that is what we've got going on. So let me go ahead and start taking you into my thoughts. So you do, like I said, get 18 shades just as you did with the first version. The first version obviously being the more berry tones, and you know, like, it seems like everybody's done a berry palette at this point, but this is one of my favorites. They really know how to do shadows right. It's just, it's weird because it's one of those brands that you wouldn't consider to be like in your top eyeshadows, and this, it really is. And I got this one at such a great deal at Nordstrom because one of y'all told me about it. It was on sale for like $28. Something weird along those lines. Anyways, so that's this one. This follows that same format, 18 shades, all lined up in the same way. This one does have the green and peachy color scheme. I say peachy, but really this to me is the only true peachy shade. The others are, I mean, I guess this one, but I consider this to be a little more pink than I do peach. But you've got the greens going on. I find the mattes to perform just as well as this palette. I find them to blend very easily. I like to build mine up. I go in light and then I start adding. And I have found that to work very well. I mean, there is kickback in this palette, don't get me wrong. That's not a deal breaker for me, but I point that out because for some of y'all, it is a deal breaker. So some of the mattes are a little bit dry, but it's ridiculous how they go on the lids. And as you saw, they swatch pretty darn good for being mattes, especially that rich brown one down here. So no trouble with the mattes. Keep in mind, there are only 4 if you are opposed to that kind of thing. You know, if you like more mattes, more variety of mattes in your palette. Now, these types of shades that are these like multi-dimensional sparkly type of shades are ridiculously incredible. They are so very sparkly, and you get about, let's see, you get about, I'm trying to see, you get about 5 of them. So you've got Crown, Thorn, Ivy, Myth, and Eve. I find Myth and Eve to be the most sparkly out of all of them, and I will tell you how I use them. So if you watched my Juvia's Place video, using Juvia's Place for the first time, you saw that I put my Fenty primer on directly with the wand onto my eyelid, as most people would do, but instead of like sweeping it over my lid, I put it on with the little wand, and that's how I leave it. I don't spread it out, I don't thin it out, nothing. I just leave it how it is. I go in with a very flat shader brush. It's a BH Cosmetics shader brush, very flat brush, and then I pick up, you know, as much product as I want, and I start laying it down, and I can't even tell you how much product just grabs onto the primer. And it's like I used my brush wet, or it's like I applied it with my finger when in fact I did not. And I have found that that method is keeping my eyeshadow on for so long. Usually by now I've had my makeup on, let's see, it is 3:36. Usually I've had my makeup on since first thing in the morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And so usually by now it's really starting to fade, even with a primer. But when I do that method, it holds on and keeps it vibrant. So you can tell this is very vibrant, and I've had it on for a lot of hours at this point. Anyways, that has been my favorite method to use these shadows. You can also use them wet. It gives you a beautiful finish. You can also obviously use your finger, and you know that that is pretty much my preferred method for any type of sparkly metallic shade, just because you use less product and it just builds up so quickly. As far as the satins, they are so pigmented. They're so easy to work with. They're just smooth. Now, I don't really blend mine out because those are ones that I use on the lid for my lid color. So when I pack them on, like, it's just, they build up so easily, so quickly, and I get a ridiculous amount of color intensity on my lids. So the fact that this is supposed to be like a grunge palette, I'll read to you the Ulta website, the Ulta description, but it's supposed to be like a grunge palette. I think that's what Lime Crime is known for, and I just, yes, you can get the grunge looks, but I find it also to just be so pretty, like not grungy at all. It says, Blossom and Bloom with Lime Crime's Venus XL2 Pressed Powder Eyeshadow Palette, the earthly rebirth of the ultimate grunge eyeshadow palette. Boldly unearth 18 all-new shades in 4 rich, buttery, smooth formulas, matte, metallic, foil, and sheer iridescent. So I can already tell you that this crown shade is probably one of those sheer iridescents, so is Radiant. They are just so pretty. And there is, so crown especially, it's got almost like a little bit of a thinner consistency so that you can probably like top over. I like to use it just as a sheer wash on my lid when I'm going for those really natural type days, and it looks so good. It brightens my eye and gives that perfect amount of sparkle without being too much, without being like, oh, you didn't do your makeup, but you did your makeup. Anyways, so it is $58. I don't know if I mentioned that, and I'm going to tell you, I am absolutely dazzled by this palette. I'm so glad I picked it up. I'm so happy that I didn't listen to a lot of what people were saying, because I've heard some people say, oh, when you use a few of the shades, they start to mix into each other and they look the same. Well, I think that's going to happen with any palette when you're using similar shades. They are going to look like the same shade, and that's why I like to use like the browns with the greens, and that way I've got something that stands out and it's not just mixing into each other. I would even dare say I might like this one a little bit better than this one, and I think the only reason for that is because the berry trend, as much as I love it, has been done so much that this is something new and out of the ordinary, and I really do not have colors like this in my collection. So I am so happy to be adding this to my collection and add a few shades that I don't have or that I haven't seen or used before. This was an absolute dazzled for me. Again, it's $58. I used a 20% off coupon, so it knocked like a good almost 12 bucks off, which makes a huge difference when something's that expensive. It's kind of nice. I also used my the last of my Christmas gift cards. So that being said, the next time there's a coupon, if you're wanting to wait, I would absolutely pick this up, snag this bad boy up. It is really, really great. I have been so enjoying using it. Definitely spring is coming, and this would be so appropriate for that time of year. So I am loving it, and I would highly, highly suggest it. All right, guys, before I let you go, I do want to give you the verse of the day. Before I do that, I will tell you, keep in mind, as always, sometimes I have to say this because if not, people are like, oh, it's just the worst palette ever, it didn't work for me. What works for me may not work for you and vice versa. There's so many different skin types, skin tones that, you know, that's the beauty of makeup. There's so much out there that there's something for everyone. So I love this. I have a feeling a lot of y'all would too. However, don't take me 100% as this is going to work for everybody, because what works for me, again, may very well not work for you. Just putting that out there. Little disclaimer. So Psalm 28:6 says, "Praise be to the Lord, for he has heard my cry for mercy." All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this dazzled or disappointed. I know they're few and far between now, but hope to have a few more for you here in the next few weeks. I hope you're having a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Just know that I love you, Jesus loves you, and I will see you in the very next video. Please subscribe if you're new to my channel, if you are interested in my content and would like to be notified of any future videos I post. And if you found this helpful, I hope you'll hit that, not the notification bell, the thumbs up button for me. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.